Hey y'all, Trucker Zach Bell here. As always, I hope you're doing fantastic in spite of everything that's going on between the ice storms, protests, wars, and I want y'all to really be praying right now for both Russia and Ukraine, because my heart goes out to those people in Ukraine that are being affected, especially since the relay team that I meet has a couple of Ukrainian drivers that immigrated here a few years ago, and now they're trying to get help back to their families. So, on this episode of Truckin' It, we're going to be talking about that, and also the upcoming election, and then finally, well, I've seen a lot of response to the reply that I did to Ruben G's tweet, and I've also noticed that my tweet was actually getting retweeted numerous times. I was talking about him being a nut job, etc. So, let's talk about that stuff right now, because we've got an election coming up tomorrow here in Texas. Okay, first things first. I gotta get this off my chest. I meet up with a team of drivers from Ukraine every single week. And that particular team of drivers has been having all kinds of issues dealing with the fact that their home country is at war. They've been having issues between themselves and Russia for a long time now, but Russia really went off the cliff over the last week. And unfortunately for these people, that means they're losing their friends, they're losing their family, and the situation is dire. So please pray for Ukraine and for Russia both. For Ukraine, that everyone there would be safe and protected from harm. And for Russia, that they would back off, that they would become peaceful, and that they would negotiate a deal to help Ukraine get back on its feet after this incident. And that their tensions would be gone forever. And by the way, the same with North Korea and the South Korea. And this, I pray the same for China versus the United States. Because, I mean, there's a lot of crap that's going on. And we need to get our differences resolved and get working together in order to solve the world's problems. Not the least of which is the well-known threat that some people talk about. It's called climate change. And high fuel and energy prices as well. So let's go on from there to politics here. I'll talk about the trucker convoy next, followed by the upcoming election. So I've been hearing a lot about this freedom convoy that's supposed to be going on. And actually yesterday when I was on my way home from work, a lot of drivers were honking at me and my co-driver, not because of anything bad, but because they're trying to support us truckers. And that's in addition to the normal aggressive driving caused by traffic jams, etc. I would strongly encourage y'all to please support some of the truckers. And if you're a trucker who's participating in the convoy, please make sure to drive friendly, keep the traffic rolling as best you can, and don't be a jerk. If you do get the chance to meet with the leaderships, though, by leadership I mean congressmen or senators or President Biden himself or Vice President Kamala Harris, I would strongly urge you to talk about the reality that's facing truckers right now, so that you could get their attention and so that you could make them realize what's going on, so that they can pass bills or have the information they need to direct the right resources to the industry. And we don't want a situation like what happened in Canada to happen in the United States. And we definitely don't want a situation like what's happening between Ukraine and Russia to happen here either. So I strongly urge y'all to keep the traffic flowing, be careful in the convoy, try to stay safe, and if, like I said, if you meet with any of the national leadership here in the U.S. and they want to talk with you directly, do so. And make them hear your side of the story so that they understand what's going on. I would especially urge you to contact Ruben Gallego, Ted Cruz, and some of the other people in Congress, since they seem to be out of touch with reality. And by out of touch with reality, I mean they're just out of touch, period. So get them in touch. That's your goal when you get to Washington, D.C. And speaking of politics, let's talk about the upcoming election in Texas that happens tomorrow. So tomorrow is election day here in Texas for the Republican and Democrat primaries, and the Libertarians have their convention coming up too. I have not heard of who's running for the Libertarian candidate for governor. That being said, it may be contingent on what happens tomorrow in the Republican and Democrat primaries. So, what my choice is currently is undecided, but I'm looking and leaning more towards that right side, because I don't like what is being offered by the left. What I would ask y'all to do is to please pray for those of y'all who are dealing with an election right now like I am. That if you are facing an election, that you would go vote, and after you decide which candidate best suits you and your interests. And I've got a few different ones on my mind right now, all of which are good. And some of them may not be perfect. They're all flawed in some way, for that matter. But it's up to me to decide that. And when I go vote tomorrow, that's when I got to make that decision. So please, if you're facing an election tomorrow, research the candidates, find the one that best suits you, and go vote. And let's make sure that this country is made great again. That we love our enemies. That we help each other solve our problems. Political, trucking related, and everything else. And until next time, let's make your best trip your next trip. Keep learning, keep thinking, and keep on trucking. Bye for now.